All right. Happy New Year, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully you're all doing well. I think we've had some issues with we're changing our email platforms, and I think many folks didn't get the invite or something happened. So obviously you all got it, which is good to know. Great, John. Great to see you. But I will be recording this as usual and send it out to everybody because I think a lot of folks aren't getting these. Happy New Year. All right, so it's very interesting, right? We've got a lot of things going on like usual behind the scenes, right? Meaning, when I say behind the scenes, outside of the financial markets, right? Between Georgia and all the news that typically is now becoming the new normal, it seems like, since early last year, right? But what's interesting enough is, a lot of things are just acting as normal as they can in the markets. So we're going to talk about normality today a little bit. I had a few questions on that. Today is only going to be 30 minutes. I apologize. I have an appointment that came up last minute that I do have to go to, but we'll get through everything that we need, and then next week I'll spend a little bit more time. Okay. So with that, I'll get right into it then. I assume you can all see my Thinkorswim charts. Let me know if you can't. But I wanted to bring up GBTC. So this is basically a Bitcoin. Okay, a Bitcoin. Let's call it an ETF. All right. And you get a lot of news right now on Bitcoin. We don't have enough seasonal data yet, but I've been doing research on seasonal data, and I can tell you that typically January is a bearish month on Bitcoin. So, again, we've had a couple triggers back in October here. We had a nice trigger. And again, where I've been using the Hakanachi, right? Basically you would have stayed in until right here. So you would have grabbed this entire move. Okay. Then you could have a re-entry at the green dot, get in, depending on how you played it, maybe got stopped out. Then you get back in right here and you're still in it. Okay. Or I'm sorry, you got out here and now you're still in it. So these are just some parameters that you can do. And Hakanachi can really help you maximize those. If you're staying in a trade as a longer term play, then what I would do is use the weekly dot. Stay in until you get a yellow or a red dot on the weekly. Okay. So again, from October, from the weekly, all we've had was green dots, right? Solid green Hakanachi candles. Okay. I do think we're getting close to a high, at least short-term high though. We are getting potential divergence, but we'll let the charts tell us when it's time to short. Okay. Okay, so let's talk the markets now. So the ES, right, the S&P, is coming close. It'll probably hit a new high today. Okay, as price is going up as we ask, we may hit a new high as I'm talking. Okay, no surprise. Okay, there's no surprise there to me. We're typically bullish till mid-February. So when we get these retracements, these wicks, these are great buying opportunities. Would I buy right now at the top at a high? Absolutely not. We knew need retracements, okay? But that's given you is a lot of opportunities in the stock market, for example, right, to get in some long plays after retracements. Interesting enough, and this happens at times, the NASDAQ is weaker, right? And a lot of it has to do with the technologies, right? But remember, news is just news. So look at this beautiful wick today, okay? Faked everybody out, potentially, okay, potentially, nothing's for certain, and now it's going to hit new highs probably by the end of this week, okay? It got a lot of people short here, folks, today, right? Reading the news, watching the election. Remember, markets are different, okay? It's already baked in. Most of this information is baked in. The markets try to play mind games with us. Retailers are still short the markets, folks, by over 55, 60%. So what that tells you is we should still head higher. Again, not every day, but use this as buying opportunity as far as I'm concerned, okay? Okay. Gold. So I hit my profit target finally on Nugget, okay? In fact, let me just bring up Nugget. Okay, so at 50%, I took some profits yesterday, and now I'm holding on to part of my trade with a break even. Okay, my hope is, you know, remember, they don't go up every day, right? Nothing goes up every day, folks, unless you're Bitcoin. But so, you know, as long as I can stay in this trade with part of my remaining position, right, I want to stay in this and make more than 50%. Honestly, if I only make 50% on Nugget, we're always happy to make money, but I won't actually consider that a huge success. Yes, I paid for my Christmas presents, but I want to be able to buy a car with that as well. Okay. So the gold trades, a lot of you did GLD instead. You hit your profit targets, but now, you know, keep part of it. Certainly you should have took some profits already. And now let's see if this is just a 1 day move down, you know, and then it'll head higher, or what's it going to do at this point? But hopefully you all made some good money on gold. Okay, dollar. Remember how we've talked about this, right? The trend is our friend. And we're close to a bottom, right? Right here, end of January is typically a bottom in the dollar. It's been doing, you know, nice moves. You get a 3-day move up, and then it retraces right back down to lows today. So, you know, when you can hit these type of trends, you can do really well, folks. We're probably getting close to a bottom, but we're gonna let the Laguerre and the Hackenacci tell us, right, when it's a trend change. I won't take the first trigger long, more than likely. I'll wait for a higher low for that immediate order to go against this massive downtrend on the dollar. Okay. Bonds. First of all, folks, when you see charts like this, I don't care what the seasonal is. Okay, this is not pretty, right? This is not pretty. I got an email this week saying when the Laguerre was up here, you're going to go in, Dr. Keith, here early on bonds long because we're close to a bottom, right? Looking over here. The ADX has been red. It's yellow today now. Okay. But my answer was no, not yet. Even if I miss it, I don't want to kind of guess. This is an ugly chart. So what'll probably happen on bonds, though, is now that we've broken out here, okay, this might be support right here. If not, we may get a couple more nice down days, then it'll reverse, okay, more than likely. But I'm not looking to go long here. I'm not in a rush because we have plenty of time to make money long. So let's wait for more definition. Okay, we can do that, right? Again, if you like to trade TLT, right, you can do that. You don't have to go in until it's time. You can be patient, wait for a higher low, then you can get in and go long and make your money. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Crude oil. So we keep riding the trend, right? There hasn't been many good pullbacks to get into crude long now, right? Unless you go off smaller time frames. Interesting enough, today the Laguerre was heading down, you know, that yet price is higher. You don't see that every day, folks. So, you know, at this point, I want to pull back so that I can go long, but I need a pullback. Okay, and I can always go in off a 4-hour as well. But I think crude's going to have a decent pullback before we head higher. Once it's done, you know, maybe at a whole number, maybe at 52, it'll get a pullback. But I do like crude long for sure. Again, the euro, right? Just some tremendous trend trading here, okay? And you don't want to pick tops on here. You want to wait. If you're looking to short, I would look for shorts end of January, possibly. You don't want to go in aggressive though. That trend will rip your head off. Okay. Oh, gotcha. Thanks, Daryl. Yeah, we've got our oil expert here, so we get all the information we need from Daryl. Thank you. Okay, Nvidia. We can see a nice seasonal. Okay. Well, the reason I wanted to bring this up today, Nvidia is going to be one of my favorite trades of the year again. It was my favorite one last year. Okay, I'll be running my. I'm doing my research now. I'll be publishing those late next week on my favorite trades of the year. But again, see the red ADX. We're just been consolidating now. So if you're not in here yet, okay, some got in back here, and you're still in the trade. You did a further out expiration. Okay, that's fine. It is going to head higher. But if you're not in yet, like I didn't take this trigger here because we haven't had a lot of movement, okay, on the ADX. And if it would have broke out, I would just look for a higher low and take it, right? We got plenty of room to recent highs. If they scrunch this up, okay, the high's 589. So we got plenty of room to run. It'll break new highs this year, okay? But when you have consolidation, you don't have to get in right now unless you're going to do a longer term play. You can wait for it to break out. Tesla, again, it's just a runaway machine at this point. So again, if you're in, the new re-entry was right here on the 28th, doing really well if you got in there. Okay, so you had a trigger right here, and you had a trigger right here, which is more aggressive because the Laguerre never gave you the opportunity, right? That's why I love the Hackenacci in a solid trend back to the middle Bollinger Band, a green dot. Okay, that was a really good opportunity for folks. Okay. Amazon. Look at that seasonal move coming on Amazon, right? Funds buy Amazon at the beginning of the year, folks. Okay. Beautiful move. It kind of tops around July. On the next trigger, you can do a longer term play if you want on Amazon. Do a spread if you have a smaller account. A lot of opportunities there. One of my favorite trades this time of year from a seasonal perspective, Netflix, right? So again, we're getting a pullback here. This is a special treat, getting a pullback, okay? When we get a trigger long, I'm taking it, even if it's going into earnings. Because look at the move that happens year in and year out, okay? 17 out of 17 years. So we wish everything was guaranteed, but I'm willing to take the risk on Netflix, okay? I'm just looking at Facebook's looking the same. Just if you're looking to go long on Facebook, just wait for your entries at this point. They're giving you some discounts on the NASDAQ right now, right? So be patient. You're going to get some good entries on these. Platinum. I actually like platinum better than gold. I don't talk much about platinum only because a lot of people aren't as familiar with it. There's a little bit more risk with platinum. Same with palladium, same thing. A lot more risk with palladium, but you can make more money on those instruments. But all the metals, have been seasonally sound. Silver's been fantastic. Again, hope you've been enjoying those seasonal moves, folks. All right, let me bring up some good opportunities coming here. Bear with me. And by the way, during my mentoring the last week and this week, I've noticed it wasn't just mine. the radar screens are really slow right now. Okay, it's a think or swim issue because it has nothing to do with your individual computers, because it's happening to a lot of us. So if it's loading, and those of you have the 204060, but any of you that have any sort of scripts, you might notice a lag right now. Okay, I've called them, but you know how helpful they can be. Something's just going on right now with them behind the scenes. It's taken forever, much longer than it should. So it's not, don't get mad at your computer. It's not your computer. So as it's loading here, so AMD, you know, is a trade again. It's about the entry now, right? If you're not in this. So again, you know, you've got waiting on that Laguerre, and you have a green dot. When that happens, okay, AMD will hit new highs for sure this year, right? For as sure can be anyway. AMD is a solid, you know, solid stock. If you're looking at something that's relatively cheap and you're looking to hold something longer term, you know, AMD is definitely a good opportunity for you. Okay? But you see how it's still loading, folks? It never takes that long. And it's been like that for about a week now. So, all right. So, then big picture, that's where we're at. I expect continued bullish activity. I know the news is scary. I know that there's panic, but the markets really don't care at this point. Okay, they're not, nothing's going to shock them anymore, unless it's literally something that is unexpected. Okay, and you know, that's like all of a sudden World War III broke out, you know, or something very unfortunate. The market's getting used to this craziness, and obviously we hit new highs last year during COVID. Who would have thought? If you never looked at a chart for the year and you knew what happened with COVID, who would have thought the markets would have hit new highs, right? It's really not that surprising. But as we speak right now, folks, 78% of Forex traders that can trade the Dow internationally are short, okay? Are short the market. That's incredible. Almost 80% of traders are short the market, okay? What does that mean? With high probabilities, folks, we've got a seasonal play and continued until mid-February. We've got retailers shorting the hell out of the market, and look at that, we hit a new high today. Okay, you've got to look at the data. You've got to, you can't have you can't think logically when you're talking markets, folks. Okay, I will be pretty darn surprised if the markets don't head much higher over the next couple of weeks. Okay, retailers are shorting the heck out of this. Okay, institutions know that. Large traders know that. So what do? They buy. We also have the start of the year where a lot of institutions like to load up on stocks, right? We've got that going for us. So today's a really good example where I know a lot of you probably woke up thinking, oh boy, the market's going to tank. And then, you know, it did head down a little bit, right? The Dow, it didn't really ever do that, right? The NASDAQ, it came down a little bit, then wicked right up to new all-time highs, okay? And now the NASDAQ's lagging right now, okay? But we all know the NASDAQ can catch up quickly, and look at that, okay? So don't let emotion run your trading, okay? The data is the data. 63% of crude oil traders are short. That's the other reason why crude's been going higher, okay? Yeah, absolutely did. And the cool thing as well is, you know, from a day trading strategy, it filled its gap pretty fast on the ES today. A nice gap trade, very predictable gap trade. Okay, so you can see these are loading extremely slow. Okay, so is there anything you want me to look at while we're kind of waiting here? I'm more than happy to look at some opportunities for you. I think the biggest thing, the reason I wanted to meet today, even if it was only be 30 minutes or so, was to tell everybody to relax, right? Isn't that what Aaron Rodgers says? or is that, no, that wasn't, that was Allen Iverson, right? Practice. Anyway, you know, the markets want to head higher, folks, with high probabilities right now. Okay, that's right. It was Rogers. Okay, so the other thing as well, folks, is, you know, when you see wicks like this, okay, that's very, very powerful when it's in the direction of the seasonal move. Okay, so even when we had a Laguerre trigger here, right here, and a red Hackenacci, okay, I wasn't looking to short this because of the seasonal move coming. Okay, and we've been in a nice uptrend. So in order for me to short this, I would wait for a lower high. So come down, come back up, and then roll back over. Okay, because I don't want to fight a defined uptrend with a seasonal move. So what will probably happen is we're going to come into very soon, the next day or two, a yellow and green, and with Gare heading up, and that could be a potential re-entry. My problem is I don't like to go in right at highs. Okay. All right. Any questions? Anything you want me to look at? Or we're kind of waiting for. I should have had this loaded earlier, I guess. But I wanted to bring up my normal list as well. So I'll bring up some of my favorites. So Broadcom, right, ABGO, is just another great example where, I mean, look at the move, right? So you wait for pullbacks, and you know, you had a nice trigger on November 3rd. Okay, if you took that, you would have got out the rest of your position roughly December 11th. Again, it would have been a nice move here, right? But then you get right back in. You went from a red to a yellow to a green, and there's your re-entry. Okay, a shorter move, and now if you want to re-enter, right, you're waiting for that yellow or green dot. Okay, but again, there's defined rules on this, right? I personally would like Broadcom to have a little bit bigger retracement and get in lower, but you know, you have lots of room for error on a stock like Broadcom, right? So if you want to do a longer play, you can certainly do so. Okay. Yeah, so big. Okay, I'm actually in this big lot. Okay, I got in, right? We got in off the trigger here with the seasonal move. And you know, I do like the fact that right around this level here, it tends to hit new, you know, hit higher. But now we're getting a potential Laguerre, we're getting the Hackenacci turning around. I'm expecting big to retest these highs. Okay. So it's a great example where you're following the rules. You got the seasonal move, right? Basically, since December, it goes higher typically, and it came against us right before the move higher here now. So nothing's perfect, but I still love this trade absolutely. Okay. What I'm doing is I went in on half size, so when I get an actual new trigger, you know, I'm gonna scale in with my other half. Okay. Yeah, it's a great way to do it, John, for sure. Sure, let me take a look here. You're talking lean hogs? So lean hogs, so again, you know, the nice trigger was here on December 15th. The only caution at the time, you know, we were having some potential consolidation, but, you know, again, from 1026 until roughly June, we're looking for long plays on lean hogs. Yeah, yeah. That's crazy how long that takes right now, though. I don't know what they've got going on behind the scenes. Okay, let me bring up some more that I like, though, that I know I like. So ADP, you know, here's a great example, right? beautiful uptrend. And this will find, it will get this on our scans, right? When the Laguerre triggers and you get a green dot, right? This could be another new nice entry, okay? And, you know, bigger picture, the high's right up at 182. So we got room as well to run up to those highs, right? So, you know, this is just giving us a great opportunity, but we don't want to rush in, right? We want to wait for the rules, knowing we have this big move that happens every year on ADP, okay? I'm just kind of filtering through. So Dollar Tree, is it on its move now, right? We got a trigger off the Laguerre today, green Hackenacci. Again, I don't like Dollar Tree. Like, even though with this seasonal move, I'm not entering this because we're almost right at highs. I'm gonna wait, okay? I'm gonna wait. So Domino's, right? I love Domino's this time of year. We're just waiting on the entry though, if it happens, right? So one thing of concern with Domino's right now is that typically from November it heads higher. That's what this white line is, okay? In reality, it's been heading not significantly lower, but a little bit lower. So if I take a trigger coming up here long on Domino's, okay, I understand there's more potential risk because it hasn't been quite as nice as it should be so far, right? But it also hasn't really broke this area here, right? So you have some potential pretty nice upside on here. So, you know, I usually go in half size on those, and then if I'm wrong, I either exit, or then when it turns back around, I scale in another half of my position, okay? Let me see if I can get in the weeklies here. Crazy how slow that is. Okay, so Domino's is one that I'm just waiting on. Yeah, we can look at British pound. So we typically top right around the end of January on the British pound, okay? Interesting enough, you know, the British pound has been pretty strong, but we had lower, and then until March we had higher. I'm more into the long plays on the British pound right now because of this massive trend, that if we get a retracement, you know, once I can re-enter later on in like late January, early February, I'd be much more in tune to do that with that uptrend, okay? And then one more I want to bring up here. Just grabbing it down here. Hormel. You can see we have a nice move typically coming. You don't hear me talking about it because it hasn't been following its seasonal pattern. See how the white line's been going up, Hormel's been going down. That's how people ask me, you know, does seasonality work in this type of environment? Absolutely. You just ignore a stock that's not following its typical pattern. There's plenty out there that are, okay? Right, folks. Well, again, I apologize for cutting in 30 minutes today, but I do have something I have to take care of. So we'll have our next session next week, same time. If you have any questions, send me an email, and later on tonight, I'll go back and check that. All right, folks? All right, well, again, Happy New Year, and I wish you all the best. Take care now.